The CFL Gambling Podcast Week 2 previews, picks, DFS, and Huge Tits Parlays episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt from our store. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, this is LeGarrette Blunt, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the CFL Gambling Podcast, home of the Huge Tits Parlay. Welcome back, folks. It is that time of year again, and well, it wouldn't be a year. First off, hop on over YouTube. You can watch the show, youtube.com. Just type in CFL Gambling Podcast. Boom! You get our stupid faces. But if you're listening to this on the audio side, that works too. But it wouldn't be a great season if we didn't have a questionable first week. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Don D. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're gonna pay for it. Good night.
It felt good having real football back compared to that UFL bullshit going on across the border. Felt good watching a real kickoff. Real fans. You know, felt real good. With the exception of rough start, but our locks. Call me Mike Loxley over here, because as much as we struggled, and I had some fire DFS plays too. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast and the UFL Gambling Podcast with myself. Give it up for Justin Mark, aka No Turd J Mark. How are you? I know you're sick, but tell the world just how sick you are.
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. We did have a rough start, but we called Calgary right. We said they were getting disrespected by the books, even from the win totals when we discussed those. And it looks like we were spot on with that if they can keep that momentum going. But yeah, and we hit some props. We did all right. I'm not gonna say we did bad.
Yeah, well, let's talk before we jump into this week 2 stuff. You know, and by the way, if you're wondering, we will be 2 episodes a week. Moving after next week, we wrapping up the UFL. Only have a certain amount of time with doing the college football experience. But there was one thing that I definitely thought was evident. Well, there's 2 things. Toronto's fucking horrible. I know maybe we have a situation, no Chad Kelly, best player in the league, all that stuff you've been saying all off season. But they looked really bad. Could have been a hangover. You know, you've been partying, great cups, chilling at the house. You've been having orgies all through Toronto and Ontario. And and you get a dose of reality. The season's back. I feel all right about Ottawa. I think Saskatchewan, we might've slept on a little bit. Looked a little more. I want to see them on the road though. And then the one that stood out to me, was the BC game. I don't think Edmonton's any good. They were playing it. I mean, we'll see. It was 1 week, brand new coach. So maybe they buy in and get the system a little bit more, but I'll tell you one thing. At some point they got to go to Cody Fajardo, right? Am I crazy? Cause I mean, Trey Ford, he looked like he was playing and one style. Like just now it worked on a play or two, but for the whole game. And I'm a Trey Ford guy. I just think you got to know how to use them. I think you should run them more creatively, as opposed to just dropping back and playing and one ball. It's like you're playing 500 or some shit. Jackpot. BC also looked better on the other side of that. So maybe it's one of the two. But that was the game to me that had red flags. I watched it on replay. I caught a little bit of it live. But then I was doing so much shit college baseball. I host a college baseball show. So then I had to watch it again the next day from start to finish. Got it in. But that one was the one to me was the biggest surprise from we were buying into the Eskimos. I don't know that I'm there anymore. And I think we were underselling BC, which looked pretty damn good. How about you? All the four outcomes. Which one was the most surprising? Which ones stood out to you?
So I think the most surprising was Edmonton as well. I was obviously high on them. I liked their over the win total. I liked their defense. That I think what stood out to me most was not necessarily Trey Ford, but the defense. I mean, it was not a strong unit that I thought they had put together. Now maybe it's week one, or maybe it's just that it looks good on paper. It's not going to work in this system. Yeah, I get what you're saying about Trey Ford, though. There was a lot of what I like to call backyard ball, right? Where he's running around for his life. And he made some really good scrambles, but it just didn't net for much, unfortunately. Ottawa looked good. Saskatchewan, I think they just opened up too strong, and Ottawa couldn't really recover. But I felt like that second half, they gelled better. So I feel fine about them going forward. Toronto, I think they're more than just a Chad Kelly away from fixing that problem.
They look bad. They look bad.
Terrible. The offensive line looked bad.
But could that just be you didn't focus? You won the Grey Cup. You're thinking, hey, we're the fucking best. Everyone going around town, scattered ass, saying hello to me. I mean,
my concern with this team was they had a huge roster turnover, which can sometimes work. However, I think this organization, we've kind of seen it in the past couple of years. They seem to think they know better. They seem to think like, hey, we'll just figure it out with new guys. We don't need to keep the same guys. And I think that's starting to bite them in the ass a little bit. I think you're going to see them struggle this year. Hamilton, Calgary, really good game. Calgary was in control the whole time. VA looked great. At the very beginning there, I thought, he's got to quit throwing interceptions because he threw two of them and then a third was called back. But then he shook the rust off, it felt like, and then they were rolling. We did see in that game, though, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up yet. Real surprised. We saw a kickoff return because we have a real kickoff.
Oh, so, yeah.
Imagine that. You get a real kickoff, you get a kickoff return for a touchdown. That was nice to see. I've missed those.
Yeah, a real kickoff, not that soccer bullshit that's trying to invade the sport. But if I wanted to go to Europe, I'd be there.
They put that in Madden, which makes sense, I guess, because the NFL's doing that. But in Madden, you got that bullshit kickoff, and I hate it. It's like I'm used to getting some good return yards. What the fuck is going on?
It's the most exciting play in football, and they just said, "Yeah, let's get rid of it." It's where your athlete. I mean, you can turn the tables. I would be willing to say it is the most impactful play. Like the other team just scores either a field goal or a touchdown, and it's a great fuck you back. When and to deprive that, you saw the lack of under this return system. It never works. The UFL, did they even have one all year?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I mean, you take away one of the coolest plays in football, and one of the things you can really coach too. That's like a great coaching advantage. But I will say I feel pretty good about Calgary. We gave away that future. I don't want to get too ahead of myself with saying, "Oh, I told you they're going to win the Grey Cup, take the Grey Cup." But I mean, the over, I definitely feel good about. I watched that game, and like I actually think, and you give Dave Dickinson, he was a proven winner, Vernon Adams, and then they go some of the acquisitions they had. I think we're looking pretty good there. I know even guys from Sports Gambling Podcast were texting me saying, "Good call so far on this over for the Stampeders."
Well, it was 6.5. They only need to win 6 more games. I see them easily doing that.
Yeah, I think they could too. We had news though, right? We had a couple signings, right?
Yeah, the main one being that Saskatchewan with AJ Alouette We haven't heard the full extent of his injury, but I have a feeling he will miss time, which is unfortunate because he worked on kind of slimming down because he does have some injury history. He thought that would help. Obviously, it did not work out. But they signed Kadeem Carey, a guy that, has EMS 007 saying Argos fucked up cut and carry because they couldn't run the ball. And Saskatchewan knows that he's a good running back that can move the ball, even though they really didn't struggle to move the ball without Owlette. Their backup did very well. But, they signed Kadeem Carey. He's going to be in the backfield, and I think that's a good move for him.
Yeah. And by the way, how about my Dedrick Mills DFS play there, getting it done?
Yeah. 3 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, and look, right now, we're gonna dive into all of week 2, but right now, back to the Edmonton point, they are the worst offense in the league by 41 yards.
Ouch.
So and they're the worst defense in the league, but that's only by a little bit. Yeah, I mean, red flags out. We'll see. That might just be BC just being really good. Because they did look pretty good. But Calgary, though, second best offense, based off of the numbers so far this season. So let's see if they can keep that thing going. 428 yards, second to only BC, the Lions there. Anything else you want to touch on from week 1? The first touchdown prop. How about that? Didn't you hit with Crumb? You hit with Crumb, I thought. Crumb!
I did hit with Crumb. I mean, my I guess take on it was Geno Lewis, but I said, but maybe they get close and Crumb punches it in. What happens? Geno Lewis gets to the 1 yard line. I thought I had it, but then Crumb punched it in. So let's go.
Yeah, great stuff there. Folks, want to tell you that the CFL Gambling Podcast, can't believe I almost made that mistake, is brought to you by us. Yes, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Get all your picks and podcasts for the Stanley Cup Finals, College Baseball World Series, UFL Championship, NBA Finals, college football preseason picks, and CFL action all over on the SGPN app. And that's free to download wherever you get your apps. So hop on over there and let it ride. All right, we are back talking CFL week 2. Let's just jump right into it. One of the best things the CFL does, in my opinion, is scheduling. Scheduling. Thursday night, we have an opener in good old Winnipeg. They did not play. They had the bye for week 1. Remember, 9 teams, so the BC Lions trotting in there, and I think the big news is Zachary Caleros failed to pick up his phone. This sounds like just a ridiculous story. This sounds like you're watching like a fucking Dateline or something where, this woman's running for her fucking life. She calls her fucking boyfriend, and he's playing a game of fucking Call of Duty. He misses the call, and she ends up dead, and he's sitting there. They're interviewing, and he's like, I had just been paying attention to my phone. I never heard of this in the professional sports realm. Zach Caleros, though, is missing the game, so it will be Tebow 2.0. Chris Streveler, my boy, that's a gamer. BC's laying 2.5 or 3. Shop around. I made these slides about 45 minutes ago, but I do think I see a 3 out there right now. The over under at 49.5, which was pretty shocking to me. Here's the thing though. Winnipeg does have a great crowd, great home environment. They're tough to beat there in Winnipeg. So I just am not going to overthink this though. Chris Streveler's great, but he kind of makes them a little one-dimensional. If you watch the UFL, first off, we know the CFL much, 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 much better than the UFL, but Streveler's got a little bit of Max Duggan to him. I think he's a little bit more Tebow-esque, right? I love Streveler, but I do think Winnipeg knows how to use him more creatively than say St. Louis does with Duggan. I still can't take Winnipeg based on how good BC looked with Rourke. Rourke might be the best damn quarterback in the league. I know we said Chad Kelly, and you were pumping that all off season, but Rourke looked pretty damn good. So I think I have to take BC, knowing that Winnipeg's franchise quarterback over the years is out for the game. I do think the under 49.5 is the best play on the board, though. But give me BC. Give me the under on these Winnipeg Blue Bombers and BC Lions. J-Mark, no turning back now, buddy. What are you doing?
So last week we agreed on every spread pick, and we went 1-3. So I love the fact that we're starting out on opposite sides this week. I mean, somebody's turning it around, or we both go 2-2. We'll see. But I'm thinking one of us is turning around. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying with Strevler. However, he showed some flashes. He could throw.
I am his biggest fan, I think, in this league. It's just you got to know how to use him, and I do think they know how to use him all right.
Yeah, I get that. I think this number has a little bit of a lift because BC. I mean, they did look great last week, but is that more of that? Maybe Edmonton's not as good as we thought they were. I think so. I think that BC will be. I don't think they're going to get creamed in this game. However, Winnipeg does historically own them, especially recently. They've won 4 of the last 5, no matter where it was, and no matter who was playing. I mean, we're talking about BC with Work. We're talking about BC with VA. We're talking about some good BC teams that could move the ball. Winnipeg has had their number. I mean, last year at the beginning of the season, or I guess end of the
coach
season,
though. They look tougher week 1, man.
Yeah, maybe that could be. I mean, if you look back August 1st, 2024, 25-0, Winnipeg won.
I believe I was on Winnipeg that game.
Yeah, and that was a decent BC team. I just think that the history of BC versus Winnipeg, the history of Winnipeg performing well at this stadium, at home, their home opener, I think everything's going to be rolling their way. And because of that, I'm taking the Bombers to upset the BC Lions.
Wow.
But I 100% agree with you that the under is my favorite play in this game. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, defensive battle, feel them out type of game. But, yeah, I like Winnipeg to win this.
Interesting. I mean, it wouldn't shock me with the pedigree and the culture there. And I'm fascinated. It's the game I want to watch most because of Strevler. I'm a big fan. I just think sometimes these coaches, and like, I know I just praised Winnipeg for understanding his strengths to me better than Tony Meatball in the UFL with the St. Louis Battlehawks. But I still think they don't use him correctly. At least last year they didn't. So I think, if you really, hey, what a world. What sport is this? This is badminton. Canadian badminton. In Manitoba specifically, so you're in the right place.
Fucking with you. It's Canadian football. About to celebrate the 112th Grey Cup.
Yeah, it's been happening for quite a while. I mean, the Toronto Argonauts been playing since since like 7 years after the sport was invented. Yeah, I'm good. I can't wait to watch against Strevler. But to me, I would run option read every fucking play. And then you can go play action out of it. Sometimes these coaches can't help but get in the way. Well, I can dial up this play here. No, know what you have. We'll see. I'm fascinated by the game, but give me BC. It does seem chalky. I'll say that. It seems very fucking chalky that I'm on the BC side. Going to the next game, Friday night. The Montreal Alouettes, who did look very good, game 1 there. What do you think that was more of? The Alouettes looking great or Toronto looking terrible?
I think you had a little A, little B, but I think if I had to lean one way, I would say Toronto looking terrible. I mean, their defense couldn't stop anything.
And how about Sean Thomas Erlington?
Yeah.
Getting after it. Now I understand why they made some of the moves they did. And Davis Alexander with his feet too. So now they head to Ottawa, take on these Red Blacks. This game's at a pick right now. Over under at 49.5. I thought Ottawa looked all right with Justin Hardy and company. I thought they didn't. I mean, they lost the game, but I thought they looked all right. So I'm going to go back to the well. I am going to take Ottawa to win this game. And I'm going to take the under 49.5 with Montreal's defense being super legit. But they are on the road. But give me the under. So 2 unders to start it off. I'm going Ottawa. And by the way, after this, we should hit on the first touchdown props that are available on DK. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely see where you're coming from. However, I guess on the sides, because I agree with you on the side. I think Ottawa, they really put it together in that second half. That's when you saw them. It looked like everything started clicking. They were a little slow to begin with, but everything started clicking that second half. Now, I am a little nervous picking this now because Drew Brown has been limited in practice. He did fuck up his knee a little bit.
That dude just stays injured.
Yeah. And him, I mean, the way he went down, it was kind of his own fault too, because he kind of crumbled right before the hit. And then they landed on him awkwardly because of that. It's like, if you took the hit, you probably wouldn't have gotten hurt. But anyways, I think he will play. I think he's going to be all right. I worry about the mobility a little bit, but again, they started playing better in that second half. I think they started putting it together. And last year, their biggest thing was they won at home. I think they only lost 1 game at home last year, 7-1-1. So give me Ottawa to win this one. I think they get it done here and get on the right side. However, on the total, I get your point, but I think I'm going over. I think both these defenses are going to.
You feel good on the over if Drew Brown doesn't play?
If he doesn't play, it does make me nervous. But I mean, they got Dustin Crum. Come on, we love
Crum.
Actually, I think their second is Schultz.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That concerns me a little bit. Now AO saying that Drew is out, but that
would change my pick. By the way, if you're listening to this late and they've announced that, I would agree. Then take Montreal to win this game.
Yep.
But the line is reflecting he's playing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't be favored, I don't think.
Yeah. They offer
if he's playing Ottawa and the over for me.
Although to his point, Dustin Crum is the odds-on favorite there to score a touchdown. Him and Caleb Evans.
Well, he scored the first touchdown last week.
I understand, but still, I was just saying Drew Brown is pretty fucking far back. But I guess I don't know what to make of that. Let's talk about first touchdown of the game or anytime score in that specific game. Montreal Alouettes at Ottawa Friday night. You know me, I love to sprinkle. That's one of my favorite things to do is just the first touchdown prop. And the way they spread these games out, you can have a lot of fun with that. I mean, my guy Justin Hardy's plus 1,300. The only problem is the Drew Brown thing. So it almost right now, unless you know Brown's playing, because I do think that I would want an Alouette if I'm forced, if Drew Brown's out to start the game. And that's when I would look to, I had Justin Hardy's an ECU guy. Well, so is Tyler Snead, plus 2,200, J-Mark. He didn't have the best game last week I had him in one of my DFS lineups. Maybe this is the time to jump on it. Plus 2,200, first touchdown of the game. Where you going?
It's hard for me not to go with these quarterbacks because we saw it multiple times last week where CFL teams, they get close within the, I would say 3-yard line, and then they do the quarterback sneak because it's effective. It works. So you got Caleb
the real home of the tush push.
That's right. You got Caleb Evans on Montreal's side at plus 650, Dustin Crum at plus 750. I'm on Crum again, plus 750. And that works whether they start Brown or not, whether he plays or not, because Crum will be in there and he'll be the short yardage guy.
There we go. Going back to the other game, I know we got to get to the Saturday action, but BC at Winnipeg, we forgot to touch on anytime scores or some of the props. And feel free, if you have any other props, to throw them out. But first touchdown prop for BC Winnipeg. Strevler, by the way, at plus 650. I find that fascinating that he is the odds-on favorite for the first score. A lot of balls with the backup quarterback coming in there. Maybe they know something I don't know, but I will take a shot on. I know your angle with the quarterbacks rushing the ball. It's smart because this league more than any other league they utilize that, I would say, but this BC offense is prolific. So when I know the chat was talking about Justin McGinnis plus 850 for the first touchdown or plus 110 touchdown in any game, that is appealing to me. Another one is your boy James Butler at plus 800, but I'm going to go with Justin McGinnis as the first touchdown of the game. What are you doing here in the BC Winnipeg game? And feel free if you don't like any of these, you like a prop, let it out there.
Yeah, well, so the book I'm on, I don't see the props quite yet, but since you took BC players, I'll just give the other side here, Winnipeg. I mean, it's hard with a guy like Brady Oliveira. It's hard not to take him. I mean, he was the number 1 rated player last year by the league. He is a guy that I think they're going to really heavily rely on, especially this week without Claros. The other guy I like is Dalton Schoen. I mean, it seems like people maybe forget that name a little bit because he has had some injury problems, but he's got like 26 touchdowns in 30 games. I mean, this guy is always scoring touchdowns. He's 10-1. So I think that's my favorite. Let's get Dalton Schoen involved early and often.
I like it. I like it. Now, here's an interesting one for you regarding this game. Chris Strevler, over under 210.5 passing yards. I gotta think the under's gonna hit, right?
I mean, that's where I would lean. Yeah, absolutely. I know we don't lean here, but that's the obvious choice. I'll put it that way. The obvious choice is the under. Maybe I don't see him coming out and throwing for 400 yards like some of these teams have done.
I'm quickly doing some deep diving here on his game stats. I mean, when is the last time he has thrown for that many yards in a professional football game? I don't know that he ever has, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he threw for 1,500 yards with Winnipeg in 2019. Perhaps one of those games he did, but still, what am I missing here, J Mark?
Yeah, not known for his passing, that's for sure. So
I mean, 210.5 is a lot, and that's the number 1 defense in the league right now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll take a shot on that. It does seem like deer in a cage, but easy shot, easy kill. But also Davis Alexander in the Montreal Ottawa game, over under 285.5 passing yards. Nathan Rourke, 280.5 passing yards as well in that Winnipeg game. You could also do passing touchdowns. Strevler over 1.5, plus 150 if you like the over. By the way,
I do not.
What about rush yards? James Butler over under 56.5. Brady Oliveira over under 76.5. Any of those stand out to you?
I mean, I think they're going to rely on Oliveira, but my concern is BC knows that. I mean, BC knows that they have to establish the run in order to win this game. So why not stack the box? So that number actually makes me a little nervous. I think if I'm taking anything, I'm taking the under, thinking that they're going to account for that and they're going to know that that's what they need to stop.
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting, dude. Think about this. Strevler's over-under is 210.5 passing yards, but the over-under on Nick Dembski's 45.5 and Dalton Schoen is 51.5. So you're telling me that if Schoen and Dembski, if their projected numbers combined for about 95 yards, who the fuck is getting the rest of the yardage?
Good question.
Interesting. Very interesting stuff. You don't like any of those though, Dembski. What about Justin McGinnis? Over under 64.5 yards. Chat was talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, these are just hard because we don't know how Winnipeg's necessarily going to look with their changes. We don't know how that defense is going to be. So that's the gamble, right? However, Justin McInnes looked very good last week. So I don't mind taking the over, sprinkling a little on the over there. Also switched books now so I can see more of these. Watch for a little alt parlay. I like to take these alt receiving yards, knock them down a little bit and parlay them together. I'll be releasing that once they have a couple more out.
Yeah. And I mean, if you are bullish that Winnipeg's offense is going to sputter, you can get some decent value, like under 20.5 points at plus 160. It's not bad. It's not bad.
No.
Yeah. You got to love what they're doing here on the market. There's so much more to bet on this year. It's fantastic. Before we get to Saturday's action, folks, I want to let you know we have a doubleheader on Saturday, by the way. But I do want to let you know that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. They're not even going to do a credit check. You can earn cashback rewards as well. So what are you doing? Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. And remember, it's the last week to sign up to get the free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt that we're giving away. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt today. We're also brought to you by the Circa in downtown Las Vegas and their ultimate fantasy football giveaway. Look, I don't like the NFL. I think it sucks right now. I think it's been terrible recently. However, I still play fantasy football because fantasy football is a blast, all right? And the ultimate fantasy football experience is happening, and Circa's going to hook you up for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their entire stay. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 food and beverage tab at Stadium Swim where you can hold your draft, a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates, and a few other bar deals. It's really unbelievable what they're doing. So what are you doing? Enter the ultimate fantasy football contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. Don't forget, if you're going to any of the circus, you can always get 15% off at any time with our promo code SGP15. So do that and let it ride. All right, we are back. Let's jump over to Saturday's action as I go through this again. Saturday's action. Calgary Stampeders heading into T-Dot. Take on these Argos. Toronto laying 3. Huh. The over-under at 50.5. They're basically telling us we saw nothing week 1. They're basically just spitting in our fucking eyes, our faces, and just saying, you don't know shit. I understand that Calgary's defense wasn't amazing last year, so maybe the Argos can establish the run a little bit better, and maybe it was a humbling beatdown by Montreal. But I got Calgary. I got a future on Calgary to win the damn Grey Cup. You think I'm not taking them by a money line here? You're crazy. They got the best player on the field in Vernon Adams. That's enough for me. I also play the over 50.5. I feel very good about the over. I feel very good about Calgary, which means I will probably lose both. Right, J Mark. What am I missing here, buddy?
No, I was as confused as you were. I was like your sound drop. What? That's what I thought when I saw this line.
Well, I don't get the brain man cold, but
the great Lou Holtz with something
that's
to say
right
there.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw Toronto was even favored, let alone by 3. Do they play well at home? Yeah, sure. But this team, they just looked terrible. They looked terrible. I mean, you can't tell me that they're 3 points better than a Calgary team that looked really good. I mean, and if you look at last year, Calgary, we could argue not the best. They played very competitively against Toronto, 39-25. They lost that one. 27-23, they won that one. This line is just, it stinks, which, sometimes when they stink, it bites the bettors in the ass. It bites us in the ass, but I'm taking Calgary with you.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
At least we disagreed on one game, the first one there.
It seems so chalky. How about this too? Vernon Adams right now on DK plus 115 over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Smash it.
What am I missing here? The fuck am I missing?
It's the same thing we said at the beginning of the year when we just looked at totals. Calgary is disrespected. I don't get it because, I mean, if you looked at week 1, you would think the books would have kind of corrected that, but they're still getting disrespected. And I thought they looked damn good. So, I don't get this. This is an easy play.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
I'm just fascinated by that. I mean, it seems so chalky, but how about first touchdown props? DK's got a bunch of them, but I just 1.5 passing touchdowns. What I feel like Toronto, the way Toronto's defense looked last week, you would think no matter who they're playing, you would want to take the 1.5, let alone Vernon Adams, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. First touchdown. Dedrick Mills does come to mind, plus 800. If you want to play the quarterback angle, PJ Walker plus 800 there. Deontay McMahon plus 650. Maybe he has a bounce back game. Jared Dogecoin also at plus 600. Call me crazy. I'm just going to continue to milk these wideouts. Actually, you know what? Let me switch it up. Dedrick Mills plus 800. He treated me very kind in DFS. I'm going to jump on that. What are you doing here?
I like that a lot. Janorian Grant did not play last week. That was kind of my angle leading up to maybe he has a return touchdown. That's 16-1. I don't hate that. And by the way, I don't know if you heard, but he now wants it pronounced Deonta McMahon, not McMahon anymore. It's
that's not going to happen on this show. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, that'll change. I think. I don't know which one will go first, the Eskimos or the McMahon. What the fuck are we talking about?
Live from McMahon Stadium. I'm surprised you didn't go with your guy DeMonte Coxey, but again, they looks terrible. I'm gonna keep it simple. PJ Walker. I'm seeing him 8-1 here. Just keep it simple. I think they get close and they run it in with him. Though I like Mills to get one too. Obviously, they don't mind relying on him. They did it a lot last week. I think they will do it again. So
he's plus 115 anytime, by the way.
Oh, smash that.
Yeah. 3 touchdowns, I believe, last week. Memory serves me correct. Jump on that action. There's not a ton of props out there right now, but
I'm on I hate promoting this book, but I'm on ESPN Bet because sometimes you can get some better lines there. Dedrick Mills anytime touchdown plus 125 and Calgary Stampeders money line plus 130 parlayed together. That's 4-1. That seems easy.
Does seem easy. Why does it seem so obvious? Some of these plays, like BC and Calgary, just give me a nightmare. Like Montreal, Ottawa, who knows? But it does seem obvious if Drew Brown misses the game. But yeah. I mean, the BC and Calgary plays, it just seemed fucking. Even the Vernon Adams over 1.5 passing touches. Like, what am I missing? Toronto's defense looked terrible last week.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe they're asleep at the wheels. The first couple weeks of the season, they're focused on college baseball. They're focused on the NBA. They're focused on the NHL. The nightcap. Saskatchewan heading into Hamilton to take on the Ticats, who I reluctantly have another future on. They didn't they sign Jake Delgado? I think they signed Jake Delgado. I thought I saw that.
Yeah, like that's going to help anything.
I know they love the veteran quarterbacks. Saskatchewan's laying 3. Over under at 50.5. This is a money line play. I'm dropping the hammer, guys. I'm dropping the goddamn hammer. Saskatchewan's got to prove it to me on the road. Now I will say, they looked a lot better than I assumed. And Hamilton kind of still looked like Hamilton to me. Did you get any vibe off Hamilton being different than a year ago?
No. None.
Which means they'll jump up and bite somebody because they had like a top 3 offense last year.
Yeah, they did. I thought the defense I thought they made enough changes that it would be different. It did not look different.
I thought they were going to fire Milanovic, but he's got the photos. He's got some photos. But yeah, I'm going back to the well. My future, I need my future to be alive. Saskatchewan, I don't trust that offense on the road yet. They got to prove that to me. I felt like last year when the offense hit the road, that's when they really hit their struggles. I will take the Ticats. I'm just playing it on the money line, to be honest, though. And the over under at 50.5. I will take the over here as well, too, with the Ticats offense being fire. Dropping the hammer. J Mark, what are you doing here?
I honestly went back and forth on this game. To your point, Saskatchewan did struggle on the road. They didn't struggle against Hamilton, but they only beat them 33-30. So that 3-point spread as a push. However, I'm gonna roll with the hot hand for right now. I'm gonna stick with Saskatchewan. They looked good. They looked the part. Yeah, they got to prove it, but I'm gonna ride with them while I ask them to also prove it and cash my bet. Plus, we can't agree on 3 of them. We got to at least disagree on 2 games. So give me Saskatchewan to get it done. I think Corey Mace has everybody buying in. Again, it seemed like he did at the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year is when they were very hot, so I don't think it's the time to fade them quite yet. So yeah, I think I'll ride with Saskatchewan, but I love the over in this game. The over is a smash play for me.
Yeah, and the first touchdown prop market, intriguing. How about? I mean, you don't see Bo Levi Mitchell running much, but plus 9,000. I mean. Sign me up. I'm just gonna go Bo Levi Mitchell. 5-yard rushing touchdown. Let's go.
I mean, I think the obvious play is the favorite that I'm seeing anyways, Tommy Stevens, but I'm gonna go with the guy that was amazing last week. It's not like he was out of nowhere because he had a good year last year too, but give me Samuel Emilus.
He was a beast last week.
50. Yeah, he was. And I think they go right back to him. And so I like him to get the first touchdown there, get involved early and often. See, the book still has AJ Alolette in here. I don't think he will play. No number on Kadeem Carey.
And by the way, Bo Levi Mitchell, higher or over under 305.5 yards. A big number.
What's his touchdowns at? 1.5?
Passing touchdowns 1.5, but that's at minus 155. See the difference with that and Vernon Adams. Vernon Adams is plus 115, which is shocking to me.
What are they doing?
They're asleep at the wheel.
A little bit.
I'm trying to see what else. I mean, you ever mess with any of these? To win by a certain amount. You can have a lot of fun with that. Like you just said, Saskatchewan beat Hamilton by 3 last year.
Yeah.
If you can, so to win by Saskatchewan to win by 1-6 is plus 275. Hamilton to win by 1-6, which I'm going to play, is plus 330.
You can play both those and profit.
Yeah.
If one of them hits, I mean. So yeah, I love that. I think, you're looking at a 3-4-ish point game. So I like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've given out our stuff here. Let me ask you this though, J Mark, before we go to our huge tits parlay and then our DFS. Which game do you feel best about? Because one thing I am struggling with, they seem too obvious to me.
They do seem too obvious, but I'm doing it anyways. Calgary is what I feel best about.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're still. It's almost like the. You see it in the NFL sometimes where like the team that wins the championship kind of gets that treatment for the first couple of weeks. I think Toronto's still getting a little bit of that off the Grey Cup win. I'm going to agree with you, Calgary. What total do you feel best about? Because I kind of love both the overs. So
for me, Saskatchewan Hamilton over is my favorite.
I'll go with the over in Calgary, Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have some difference there. All right, folks, you know what time it is. I don't. Turns out Baywatch tried to sue me last week for playing where it shows we're getting more successful. So yes, right now, let's get to our Huge Tits Parlay. Yeah. Brought to you by the one and only 75-year-old Pamela Anderson, but she was discovered at a CFL game. So we like to honor the good Canadian Football League and their fan base and all the huge tits out there by doing our Huge Tits Parlay, which did not cash for either of us week 1. YouTube.com. Hop on over there. CFL Gambling Podcast. We got retro huge tits on the screen. All right. My huge tits parlay of the week. Whoa. Don't get sued. Is the Hamilton Ticats money line parlay with Calgary Stampeders money line parlayed with the Red Blacks. Now, obviously pending Drew Brown playing, so you might want to wait a little bit. $50 will get you $543.34. Jump in. It's gonna be bouncing. Look, you know what? You're gonna be able to go to the strip club there with all those winnings and have a good old time. Now we got J Mark. This week he's not hitting me with a crazy one. He hit me with a crazy huge tits parlay last week, and it didn't cash, of course. But here we go. No turn J Mark. His huge tits parlay is the Calgary Stampeders money line with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and if you look to the right of the screen, the under in Winnipeg and BC. Once again, this is the home of the Huge Tits Parlay on the CFL Gambling Podcast. J Mark, tell me your logic on this one.
Well, we both talked about how the stamps were an obvious play, even though that makes us feel a little gross about it, right? But I think Vernon Adams he's turning that team and franchise around. Ottawa, I feel pretty confident about based on their second half, not their first half. I think they really started putting it together and clicking on all cylinders in that second half. So I like both those teams to win outright. And then the under in that Winnipeg and Lions game, I just think it's going to be a slow duke 'em out type of thing. You know, real Winnipeg football. A lot of their games hit the under last year. I think you're going to see the same thing. So yeah, I like the under in that one.
There we go. One other place is giving out fire, huge CFL, huge tits parlays. Now, all right, we will get to our DFS portion of the show. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, which, you know, I know if you follow J Mark on Twitter at JMark Football, we're going to have some CFL stuff we'll tweet out. Also, we'll try to cover it from at CFL Gambling Pod on Twitter as well. But we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, who does cover the CFL. And look, Underdog is going long right now for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonuses get. So sign up. And when you do, use our promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. You've heard me talk about Rhythm before, but they just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's models have consistently won and has a large ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm and Rhythm only. No touts, no noise, clean data back bets, baby. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know damn well we will be. Also, get your free 7-day trial period today. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NHL Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, CFL action, UFL Championship, everything going on right now. College Baseball World Series. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So what are you doing? Head on over to MyBookie.ag. And when you do, use the promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Of course, terms and conditions apply. Once again, that's MyBookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the CFL Gambling Podcast, and it is DFS time. I can't believe, honestly, like looking back at last week, I can't believe my lineup, because at one point I was like in 12th place, right? Like I was on the verge of top 10. I ended up 43rd, right? Which didn't take home any money. And my biggest problem was Deontay McMahon and Curly Gittins. Had I not played those two,
Mac Mahon.
Yeah, Mac Mahon.
That's probably why. Yeah,
dude, I mean, Dedrick Mills killed it for me. Justin Hardy killed it for me. I was on a gravy train with biscuit wheels before these bastards. What about you? And what was your biggest regret from last week with the play?
Well, now you're challenging me to actually go back and look at what I had.
You try to forget it, right?
I am trying to forget it. I think I also had Mac Mahon on my my lineup here. Here we go. Let me bring this up. Entries. I know I did finish less than yours because I put both of ours in and I was watching it. But, you know, Trey Ford, I thought he was going to ball out. You did kind of warn me on that. He got 11 points. Adeboboye for Ottawa only had 6. The Alouettes defense, great for me, 20 points. Rankin had 14, but then I got a little cute. Stephen Dunbar Jr., 3.6. Keon Hatcher, 9.2. I believe in our wide receiver battles. You won 2 of them. I won 1 of them.
I was just about to bring those up. It's funny.
So
you won the Gittins Dunbar one, right?
Yeah, and I won with 3.6 points. That tells you how that game went for us.
Unfucking believable. So, Battle of Bourbon on the line there. I can't wait for this week's action at the quarterback spot. We just talked about this. You saw me play the plus 115 on the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. VA Vernon Adams against a defense that looked like ass doo-doo play last week. So I will take Vernon Adams at 9,900. What'd you do at the quarterback spot?
I mean, yeah, how can you not? That's exactly what I did as well. He looked the part, and their defense absolutely did not.
And I stacked him with my boy. I'm not going to change horses midstream. You get me 3 touchdowns and 30 fantasy points. Dedrick Mills will be rostered again. So at 8K, I did load up with Dedrick Mills at the running back spot. I went with 2 running backs. How many running backs do you go with?
I went with 2. I also have Mills, ironically, not my most expensive running back, but I did go with Mills at 8K. So the money I'm wrapping up in running backs kind of made me have to get creative with my lineup, we'll say.
Yeah, and I actually went back to the well. I almost want to change it because his fucking name stands, but I was gonna go with McMahoney, Deontay McMahoney at 5,200. I might want to pivot right now. You could actually convince me to pivot if you got something. So I don't have much more though. The highest I can go is 5,500. I could go with Horvath of BC, which I'm not crazy about. I think I'm just gonna ride McMahoney one more time. How about you?
Yeah, so I'll give out my other running back, 10,000 Smackaroos. So he's expensive, but they're going to have to lean on him, and that's Brady Oliveira. He was a beast last year for this team. In times when everybody knew they had to rely on him, they still did, and he performed well. So I'm going with him to open their season the right way.
Oh, did you say the white way?
Right, the right.
Well, I'll tell you. This plays interesting. Maybe I should pivot from this. A lot of it, I need to know who the hell's playing for Ottawa.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I should pivot from it. I think I should.
While you're pivoting, just shout out to the chat, EMS 007, St. Stephen's, Channing, Geevers Golf, AO. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us talking Canadian football.
Hell yeah. Let's go. All right. I'm going to try to quickly pivot to How about Dominic Rhymes for the Stampeders? I don't believe he lit it up last week though. What did he do last week? I think I have his stats right here.
He did not light it up, but you're pivoting right into my lineup. Doesn't matter. They're going against a terrible defense, and I think Dom is going to get on track with how we know he can perform. You know, he's just getting used to wearing the red, I guess, with Vernon Adams there. I mean, he's got a history with Vernon Adams. I think it'll start carrying over. You'll start seeing it more. So I also have Dominic Grimes, 4,600. It's a discount. I think he's going to start popping. So you're going to see that price creep up.
Yeah, and I was gonna go with Justin Hardy, but I will not submit him in a lineup until I know Drew Brown's playing.
Yeah,
because Montreal's defense is good enough that I think he could actually have a bad game if Brown does not play.
Yeah.
So I will flip over to man. Do I go with our boy DeMonte Coxey? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna go to Shamar Bridges for the Hamilton Ticats. Or do I go with Tim White? Let's go Timmy White. Let's go Timmy White, which is what's his price? 7,100. It's a guy that had 66 catches for 67 or 69 yards this season ago. 9 targets though. Lawler had 13 though. Should I go with Lawler over White? What is Lawler's price?
I love you figuring your lineup out as we go.
Well, I'm just nervous about. I'm going to go Lawler, 7,800. I had my lineup all set. I did it yesterday, but I did not factor in the Drew Brown injury. So,
sure.
Give me Lawler, 7,800, 13 targets. Let's go. Where are you going?
Yeah, and AO pointing out that Dom did have a 40-yard touchdown that was called back. So this time it's not getting called back, maybe. I know I'm chasing points, but I'm okay with that. I don't think this Hamilton defense is very good. We already said it when we talked about it. Did we see anything different? Not really. So I'm going to go with Emilus. I mean, he was on fire. He's only 8,900. Seems like he should be priced a little bit higher with how he performed last week. So I'm gonna ride that hot hand.
Yeah, I rostered him as well. So yeah, I mean, that guy was a monster last week, so I don't know how you avoid that. So I've given away Dominic Rhymes, Lawler, and him. So I'm down to just defense. So please give away the rest of your team.
Yeah, so I just have one left. Just to recap, I had Oliveira and Mills as my running backs, and then Emilus and Rhymes as wide receivers. And then I put in a guy that I already talked about a little. Yeah, I'm a little nervous that he's catching passes from Streveler, but he's a playmaker, and that's Dalton Schoen. I think last year he had injuries and kind of a stagnant year. I think he gets back on track this year. He's fully healthy, and he's only $3,000, and I needed a bargain guy, and that's a bargain. So give me Dalton Schoen for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who will win this game.
Bold. Well, I disagree because my defense is the BC Lions at 3,900. They don't know how to use Streveler all the way. And because of that, BC's going to put the kibosh on that season opener because this prick Caleros couldn't answer his phone. All right. So, 3,900 BC. That is my roster. See you on the gridiron. What is our battles in the Battle of Bourbon? First, give away your defense, then we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So my defense, I'm just fading an offense, and that's Toronto. Nick Arbuckle. I mean, this guy in starts, he's got like a 50-some completion percentage, 17 interceptions to only 11 touchdowns. I'm fading Arbuckle and Toronto, so give me the Stampeders, 3,600. They're cheap. I know they didn't look great, but they looked good enough that I think they can put up some points against this Toronto offense.
There we go. Our Battle of Bourbon, buddy. I know we both have.
I don't think we had any difference, did we?
Did you have Lawler?
I did not.
So Lawler against Schoen, but what was Schoen's price? He's much cheaper.
He's 3,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And Emilus is more than Lawler, right?
By a decent amount.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It pivots to next week.
Yep.
Yep, I'm in the lead. I can feel very comfortable right now that Johnny Walker Blue is looking pretty fucking good. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. I mean, well, maybe we'll see. See how much you pissed me off along the road. Folks, give J Mark a follow on Twitter at JMarkFootball. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The CFL Gambling Podcast is on Twitter at CFL Gambling Pod. Follow. Also, please like and subscribe on YouTube. That's even bigger for us. YouTube.com. Hop on over there, type in CFL Gambling Podcast. You get our stupid faces, but it really helps us. And we're building an army. All right. And it starts when the Huge Tits Parlays cash. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Till next week. This is the CFL Gambling Podcast. Make sure you check out the Old Fashioned Football Podcast and the College Football Experience and the UFL Gambling Podcast. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you next week. All right. Once again, this is the CFL Gambling Podcast, the home of the Huge Tits Parlay. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.